Hello and welcome to this week's live Monday music motivation. For today, I want you, if you've ever experienced performance anxiety or stage fright or nerves before a performance, then I want you to hit the like button on this video. And that should probably be all of you because everybody has experienced this. If you've ever performed, then you felt a little performance anxiety. And even if that performing may have been just recording yourself, you've probably got those little bit of nerves and felt that energy of performing, which sometimes can be a positive thing, of course. Now, to add to that, if you've experienced performance anxiety and have liked the video, and then also as you were preparing for that performance, like moments before while you were backstage or maybe on stage warming up, you were running through all the hard stuff and working on all the challenging stuff and trying to make sure that like that tricky spot was going to come out right as you were preparing for the performance, then I want you to subscribe to this channel or leave a comment because that is so common to be like, oh man, I have this performance that's gonna happen. I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a high stakes performance. I want to make sure that I can play all this stuff and feel comfortable with all the technical challenging stuff and all of that right before the performance. And backstage you're going crazy, and then you end up feeling pretty nervous and pretty anxious in the performance, and it doesn't go great. In this video, I'm going to talk about what the kind of professionals do differently and those players who seem calm and just sort of in the moment, what they're doing backstage right before, because I got to experience it yesterday, in fact, when I was at Colorado Clarinet Day up at the University of Denver, which was a ton of fun and a really good day of clarinetting and seeing everybody and connecting. As always, the in-person clarinet events are so fun. But something that I sort of discovered and noticed as I was preparing for the sort of Colorado Clarinetist Recital, which is a performance of I think there were 12 of us or so performing, and we were all the sort of university professors and prominent professional clarinetists in Colorado were performing on this recital. And as I was backstage kind of warming up with them, I think almost none of them were running through their music. A few of them were sort of glancing at it, like thinking about some stuff, but I didn't hear one lick of playing anything up to tempo or like it would be in the performance amongst all of those professionals. And I don't think all 12 of them were in the same room at the same time as me, all warming up. But what I was hearing was long tones, reed testing, scales, more kind of basic warm-up stuff, and some of them were kind of looking through their music and maybe slowly fingering some things and things like that here and there, but none of them were in that kind of frantic like you know how that goes when you're getting ready to perform and kind of having that anxiety around it. And it's fascinating to me kind of seeing how the professionals do things differently in the moments before the performance, because I've certainly also been in warm-up rooms when I was in college or high school where everybody's kind of freaking out trying to make sure that they can play their stuff. But I think the difference is, and what the key distinguishing factor here is that the professionals know and trust their retrieval more so than the younger and less experienced players. And part of that maybe comes with experience, but I think a lot of that also comes from higher quality of practicing and understanding and trusting their abilities as well. So what they're doing and the reason why they aren't all going through the stuff really fast and making sure they play it is because when you're doing that, you're doubting that you're going to be able to play it on stage in a few moments from now, and you're thinking like, it's been at least a day since I've looked at this, so I need to sort of get it refreshed. And oftentimes you can kind of get it refreshed in the moments before and feel really good about it, and then still fall apart on stage. And the reason for that is because you're working from this place of feeling like you need to have the information in your working memory, because probably you're practicing with not a lot of retrieval practice and not doing spacing and things like that. And you're practicing where you're always needing to practice from working memory. This is where you can play that hard spot, but you have to play it 5-10 times to kind of work it up, and then you can play it. And it seems like every day you come back to it, you have to work it up before you can play it again. And then backstage, you're working it up so you can play the tricky part. But the bad news is, by the time you've gone from backstage, even if you did it right before, walking out on stage, seeing the audience, bowing, having those little bit of nerves, playing all of the music before the tricky spot is going to overwhelm your working memory, and you're not going to be able to play the way that you worked it up. And then you're going to feel disappointed in your performance because it wasn't as good as it was literally just backstage minutes ago. But the pros weren't doing that. They weren't working things up backstage at the last second. The pros were just making sure their reeds worked, getting their fingers sort of acclimated, and trusting that they're going to be able to retrieve the information from their long-term memory in the performance, because that's what you have to do in the performance, because you can't get a whole performance, even of a short piece, into your working memory. So that's the difference that I found kind of fascinating, and was one of the interesting things that I learned yesterday at the Colorado Clarinet Day. I should add the caveat too that, again, I wasn't seeing all of them. This may not go for all professionals. This was maybe not necessarily a super high stakes performance for any of us, because we were all just doing kind of one little piece as part of a bigger recital. So maybe if it was a full recital, people would be playing through stuff more. But I still think it would probably be kind of slow playing, just checking in with things, not trying to work anything up, and not having that kind of frantic pre-performance mode. So hopefully that gives you some food for thought. The takeaway and the practical implication for this, for when it comes to our practicing, is that we need to be practicing retrieval. And if you don't know how to do that, you can search Quick Start Clarinet spacing, and you should find a video. You could also search Quick Start Clarinet 3 phases of practice, and you'll find some videos on how retrieval works and what it's all about. But for this week, and to do your spacing, you need to make a plan, and that's where our practice template comes in. You can go to quickstartclarinet.com/get-started to check that out, or just copy it. It's date for the week, reflection of how things are going, goal for the week, plan for when you're going to do it, and then you're going to take that plan and you're going to put it into your calendar, schedule those practice sessions so you know when you're practicing, what you're practicing, and you can have a successful week of practice. So let me know if you have any questions about this retrieval type stuff in the comments. Leave a comment if you're one of the people who's been panickedly playing through your technical challenges right before a performance, and then have felt disappointed that it didn't go as well in the performance as it did when you were warming up backstage. Like this video if you've ever experienced performance anxiety, and of course subscribe to the channel if you want more motivation like this, more ideas to think about, and some great quality learning science for you, and clarinet playing and music playing tips as well. So thanks so much for watching. I will see you next week in the next live Monday Music Motivation. Have a great week and happy practicing. Bye.